All right, let's go to Charlie Gasparino on what types of things are being considered to address this and much, much more. Charlie.
Yeah, Neil, last week we reported exclusively on Cavuto on Business and on the claim and countdown that the federal government was going to add tens of billions of dollars more to the small business stimulus. That is now coming together. From what we understand, again, as Hillary said, Thursday is the day. We understand it's $200 billion, and we understand that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell will be unveiling this. Again, another $200 billion to that small business loan program, as we first reported last week, and the number is now coming together. And I think that is good news for small businesses, and we'll get into why that is later on. But a couple other points to make. As I reported yesterday on the Claim and Countdown, they are talking about another $1 trillion to the overall stimulus package. And when we say they, we mean congressional leaders and the White House. We're not exactly sure how that is all cobbled together. It's the $200 billion in small business stimulus will probably be part of that. There'll probably be some tax relief as part of that, and maybe some infrastructure. But that's coming together as well. We reported that last night. The Washington Post came out today, so this is coming down the pike as well. Couple of questions here, a couple of issues here, Neil. The small business portion of this stimulus package still leaves a lot to be desired. I'm going to be reporting about this throughout the day, and we're going to be putting something on foxbusiness.com. Money is just not getting to small businesses for a lot of reasons. For example, you're a big customer of Wells. Guess what? Wells is not giving out the loans. They're telling their customers, because of the fake checking account scandal, the Treasury Department is not allowing them to give out loans to small businesses. So those small businesses have to go elsewhere. And guess what? When you go elsewhere, you're not prioritized because you're not a client of, say, JP Morgan Chase. So there's a lot of kinks to be worked out here. We should point out that Citigroup, apparently, that's the third largest bank in the country after Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase. Citigroup does not have its program up and running. From what I understand, the money is not exactly flowing out to many businesses. I haven't met a single small business person that has got a check yet. So this question, so as we're talking about, Neil, a new money for small businesses, we should point out that the old money, the money that was earmarked, is not getting to them just yet, at least not in the numbers that matter. Again, we understand this was always going to be a work in progress. It was never going to work seamlessly. But if time is the essence, as it is here, we have an economy in free fall where, I know the markets are up today, but still we have a Main Street economy that's not up right now. Money needs to be given to small businesses. They represent, half of the American workforce. They're virtually shuttered, a lot of them, because of the various lockdowns and quarantines, and they're not getting the support they need right now. It's like you have the framework set up, but the money, for some reason, can't get to the people that need it. It is a very frustrating situation if you talk to enough small business people as I have. But the good news is, it appears more money is on the way, and I think money is needed here. Again, as we reported last week, that money is being delivered probably by Thursday to small businesses. The number we hear, $200 billion. We hear it's Thursday. They're going to be unveiling it. And another stimulus package of $1 trillion, 1.5 trillion, on top of the $2.2 trillion they already have. As Keynes always said, Neil, remember what he said? I know it's gallows humor, but in the long run, we don't exist. And I think that's part of the problem. We're going to have to pay this back. But, in the short term, it is definitely needed. Back to you.
Thank you for that upbeat note. In the long run, we don't exist. Let me ask you, though, about this phone call that Joe Biden had with the president. Do we know anything more about it? Do we know what Joe Biden is going to do, how he is going to handle this? It's a tough role to be in. What do you think?
Right. Here's what I know from inside the Biden camp, and it's funny because I spoke to a senior person in there, a guy who works on Wall Street who deals directly with the former vice president. The advice he was given was essentially, at this point, not to politicize directly the what's going on here. Is speak to the president, have or speak broadly about issues. But don't go out there and politicize this. Let others do it if they want to do it. And I think, You know, in the short run, again, there is, you know, because he's not attacking. You know, a lot of people, a lot of Democrats think that, you know, that is attributed to what's essentially a modest bump in President Trump's approval ratings through all this. Long run, the people in the Biden camp say, listen, if you go on the attack now, if you look like you're looking to make a bad situation worse, if you don't at least have phone calls with the president, and at least, you know, there's some olive branch there, you're going to look petty. And in the long end, there's going to be plenty of time to judge his response or maybe lack of response to the virus. And I think that's what we got here. We have his advisors telling him, you know, Joe, be a team player right now, and we'll go on the attack when this thing recedes.
All right, we'll see how that goes or how long it lasts. It's a tough election year, but we'll watch it. Charlie, great job as always, my friend. Charlie Gasparino.